And I'm very excited for today's keynote interview for AIM. I basically present Introducing in London, which supports the best in music from the capital. I'm also on Radio 1 at the weekends, Radio 1 Relax for chill vibes. And I present on Magic Chilled, slightly different vibe as well. But, I present a few things. But this next person, our guest for our AIM Future Independence keynote interview today, as you can see, she's bopping along there, has such an incredibly long list of accolades. I'm gonna read out some of them, but her songwriting credits have contributed to over 6.5 billion Spotify streams, over 4 billion YouTube streams. She's credited to 5 UK #1 singles, 20 top 10 singles, 10 UK #1 albums, 25 top 10 albums. She's celebrated a Grammy Award win with her songwriting credit on Dua Lipa's Best Pop Vocal Album. And also, of course, the Brit Award in 2017 after her penship was Shout Out to My Ex with Little Mix, who described her as the 5th member. Sadly, hopefully you'll be there for the reunion. And also an Ivor Novello Songwriter of the Year Award nom, Mercury Music Prize nomination, A&R Award win for Songwriter of the Year, a Global Award, and an ASCAP Award recognising songwriters. Kamille, who is the baddest of them all?
Wow, that intro was wild. Can I just say thank you so much? I'm like, who is that you're reading about? Because that's not me. Thank you so much. That was incredible. And I'm so happy to be here. And hi, everyone who's watching and tuning in, who spent the whole day enjoying some amazing content and amazing stuff. And yeah, I'm just so happy to be here. So thank you.
It's unreal. I've not even got into everything that you actually do, as in job wise. These are your accolades. And it's just, I just feel like, how do you have the time, lady?
I don't actually know.
Did you just collect jobs?
I feel like, honestly, I don't know where the last 5 years have gone for sure. Because I just feel like I've been hanging around singing my way through the years basically, but it's been really fun. I can't even moan because this doesn't feel like a job. So I know a lot of people watching this are thinking, they love music and stuff, and the reason why you're here is because you love it. So it's the same with me. I've just loved it, and yeah, I don't know how I've done that basically.
Let's talk about that. Let's rewind. So this was the thing I think that shocked me most about everything. Everything else is amazing and wow. But you went from being a stockbroker to then a songwriter. Talk to me, let's go back in time. What happened?
Oh my God. So at school, I was obsessed with maths and physics, and all my teachers were like, yeah, you should either be maybe an architect or maybe an economist, because, you can use your maths and you can do all these things. I was like, okay, cool. And I went and decided to be a stockbroker or something in the finance industry, because I've been working at a few banks. I worked at Barclays, I worked at Santander, and I was like, okay, cool, let me just see if I can get into the finance industry. And yeah, I did an economics degree, which I hated every minute of because it was just so, for me, it just wasn't interesting, and it was just very blah blah. But I did it because my parents were like, you need to get a degree, and I'm so glad I did it.
It sounds good as well.
Yeah, it does sound really good. And I'm not even shading an economics degree. I'm just saying, for me, it wasn't my first love, because I loved music so much. And while I was doing my degree, I was hanging around at these studios. My parents put me in touch with a couple of musicians they knew. And I would go to the studio with them and hang out. And then I just realized, oh my gosh, I love being in the studio. But obviously I can't tell my mum and my dad I'm gonna drop out of my job and go and be hanging around in studios. So I tried to stick it out with working in the finance industry, but more and more I just didn't like it. And I kind of felt like Neo in the Matrix. That's literally how I felt. That film really resonates with me, because I literally took was it the blue pill he took? I don't remember, but I took the different direction to just get into music. And the more and more I was in the studio, I realized I loved writing, I loved singing, I wanted to be an artist, I wanted to write music for other people. And I wrote this song, which I didn't think was for me, but I loved it all the same. It was a song called What About Us? And my manager at the time pitched it into Polydor, who obviously had amazing acts at the time, like the Saturdays. And yeah, the Saturdays loved the song and they cut it. And Sean Paul jumped on it. And then that song went to #1. This story is mad. Like, it's a really rare situation. But because it went to #1, I then had the balls to go to my parents and be like, yo,
I've got this.
So I was lucky. That is very, very rare. But that's kind of what happened.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And there must be people watching who are thinking like, yes, I'm doing this job and really music is my real passion. This is just, you know, to pay my bills, to like get me by. Guys at home, remember, you can get your questions to us. I actually have the screen in front of me with a live feed of your questions. So if you have anything for Kamille, just get them to me and I'll be asking them along the way. Also, we'll obviously have room for Q&A at the end. But I feel like it is such a big decision. So you said obviously the real push, like the moment that was like, yeah, actually I can tell everyone that I can successfully leave this stable job that you worked for in terms of your uni and like everything, was the #1. And that is lucky. What other reservations did you have? And like, what was really like the driving force for you to make that leap and take that jump? And what was the first thing that you did? Who did you call? What did you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, actually for me, it was just the feeling that life is too short. Like, I've always had this in the back of my mind. I've always wanted to like make the most out of my life. I had like family members pass away at that time. And I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, I just want to enjoy every moment of my life. So that definitely like helped me to be brave in this decision of finally being like, I just want to do music now and I'm not going to listen to anyone who tells me otherwise. But I think stepping into the music industry was very, very daunting because I knew nothing about it really. I had to kind of like lean on my management, who I was lucky enough to find at the time.
So you have management before you even left your job? Was that like what you had in place?
You know what? When I say management, I say it very loosely because it was more, I have one of my managers is called Rodney, and he hadn't even set up a firm yet. He was just like an incredible person in the music industry, and he found me in one of these studios that I told you about that I was hanging around in, and he was like, who's that girl in the corner, like just singing all the time? And we just got talking, and funnily enough, we actually connected over God. Like, we're very strong Christians, and we were like just connecting, and I felt like I really needed him in my life to guide me. So it just naturally happened that way. So I wouldn't say I was able to find management in the way that people would expect. It was more like it kind of just happened through friendship, I'd say.
Yeah, I have just seen a question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, no. It's relevant. So, when did you get the manager, and how did you find them? So, I do think as well, like when I first started in the music industry, I didn't know anyone either, and I was seeing all these applications for entry-level jobs, and the first question is, how, like, show your passion. And I was like, I'm passionate because I love music. But I think what you just said there, where you were in, even though you had this other job in a whole nother world, you were in these studios, you were literally showing up, had your face there, to the point where someone was like, who is that? I need to get to know them. Why are they here? Yeah. And the fact that you were there just because you love it, like you put yourself physically in those spaces, or you turned up, you were showing your passion in that sense, weren't you?
100%, like 100 million percent. And to answer that question, my biggest, I think, theme for this panel or this talk that we're having right now is to kind of remind people that social media is there to help you. When I started, I couldn't just go and message someone or DM someone and be like, who's your manager? Or do you know anyone that's great in management? Like, you can literally now, and I know these people in the industry, like if we're talking about production or songwriting, I'm not sure what that question was who was asked by, but if that's what you're trying to get into, I know the people in the industry are so helpful, especially my fellow writers, producers and singers. Like, if you were to ask someone, they might not always answer, I get that, but if you were just to reach out and DM someone and be like, I love singing, I love doing this, is there anyone you recommend for management? Because we kind of know all the managers as well. Typically they'll answer you or at least point you in the right direction. I didn't even have that. Like, I didn't even really have Instagram to be DMing people, so I had to kind of just make my way blind. But if you're stuck, just ask people on Instagram, please, 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 because I get asked things all the time on Instagram. People DM me probably 100 times a day, and I go through and I try and answer people, steer them in the right direction. So yeah, I would say just try and ask and find out is the best way to do it. Any songwriters or producers that you love, typically try and find out who they're managed by and reach out to them and just kind of network that way.
I will say do your research though. Sometimes you get sent stuff and you're like, well, I can't really reply to that because I'm not really anything to do with that. But also be prepared for them to stalk you as well. So show what you're getting up to and what you're doing. But that is very good advice. Also, Consuelo has said, do you have any advice to find a manager for a non-performing songwriter?
For a non-performing songwriter, yeah, I think it's the same kind of process, because most managers are they'll look after people who are kind of, you know, ones that can sing and vocal songs and ones that don't. If you're saying you're more of like a lyricist, then yeah, it's exactly the same process. I guess like a producer in a way is kind of a non-performing songwriter, because a producer just goes and does beats and plays and you're not really singing. If that's what you mean, I think that's what you mean. So yeah, exactly the same process in terms of just networking and talking to people and hitting up publishers. They can put you in touch, hitting up music lawyers. They're really good for knowing management as well. Yeah, I'd say that.
I think it's like the unwritten rule in the music industry to ask for a coffee, whether you drink coffee or not, just to have a chat and just to see who this person is and what they're up to and what they can maybe do for you. Yeah. Don't go in too expectant, but sometimes just having that meeting can open so many doors that you didn't even know existed. So
definitely. And one thing you said was really true, actually. Like, I think what you can't hide the fact that you actually have to be doing like some sick stuff. Like, you have to be, to catch the eye of people, you need to be like doing stuff. So if you're on your page and you're showing on your socials, like, I'm writing this, I'm doing this, I've got this demo, you're on TikTok, like you're doing all this stuff, it definitely helps when you're then trying to reach out to people, because the first thing they're going to do is go and look on your socials and see like, who is this person? And 9 times out of 10, a lot of people will come to you anyway. So yeah, just be active, I'd say, as well.
Consuelo has also added, we can't all be in those spaces in London, Jess. So how does an awesome songwriter find a tribe or co-writes online? I actually didn't say London. I specifically said spaces, because I also include in this day and age online spaces. The fact that you are here right now shows a lot. Like the fact that we're saying your name and talking to you and I know a little bit about you now, I feel like says a lot. And if I came across, or if you DM'd Kamille or me afterwards, we're like, I was at that talk, I really loved what you said, blah, blah, blah. That's already an in. Like, I'm not talking necessarily about physical spaces, but I feel like if you, I don't know whereabouts you are from, but like, I find that I went to uni in Newcastle and I spent 4 years up there. I spent another year after I graduated, and I found that the DIY scene was really strong, but really small. You can make waves in a scene like that because you can create your own thing. If you think there's something lacking, you can do that. London's quite actually overwhelming. You can meet a lot of people, but there's a lot. There's so much going on that sometimes you don't even have time to make a stronger, or you have to put a lot more effort into making a stronger connection or like making noise above everyone else. So sorry, that wasn't to come out. Like, I feel like I needed to say that.
Really, really good point. 100%. I totally agree with everything you just said. 100%.
Kristen's also asking, what's the best process to find a label?
Oh, okay. This is an interesting one, because I actually feel like it's typically the other way around, annoyingly, with labels. Like, they kind of want to find you. And I know that really sucks to hear, but like, when you start going after labels, it doesn't really tend to work out the way you want, because you kind of want to be in more of a powerful position with finding a label. You can definitely keep an eye on who's good. Like, you can talk to lawyers, you can talk to music accountants, you can speak to management, obviously. You can just kind of ask around and see. But there's not many major labels in this country. They're kind of quite big, and there's only really a few of them, so it's not kind of hard to find out who is a good label. It's more, the question I'd say is like, you need to be attractive to a label. It's just how it is. It's like a business agreement at the end of the day, so they want something from you as much as you want something from them. So yeah, I'd say when it comes to finding a label or wanting to be signed by a label, I'd say it's better in this era of music we're in to just work on your own stuff. Like, don't fight and rush to try and want to be signed, because you can do this independently. It's so easy now to blow and be viral and do all this stuff. Like, you don't actually need a label. And when they do come along, you'll be in such a much more powerful position. So don't think that's the only route, is all I'm saying. I totally get your question, but it's kind of not as important as it used to be anymore.
I saw a message from Anonymous about Jessie Ware following you on Instagram.
Oh, Jessie's my girl.
You performed together on tour and your connection there. We also, I have your collaboration list here: Dua Lipa, Stormzy, Little Mix, Amory, AJ Tracy, Mabel, Jess Glynn, Clean Bandit, Stefan Don, Zara Larsson, Headie One, Emily K, and Summer Walker. These are all the biggest names in the industry right now.
Oh my gosh.
Talk to me about collaboration. How does it even feel like listening to that list? It's unreal.
It feels amazing, and it feels even nicer to know these are all like my friends. Do you know what I mean? Because these are people who I've like had hits with and made music with, and I think I'm such a hustler. I definitely would say I'm a very, very driven individual. And I remember when I started in the industry, my goal was just to work with as many people as possible, and I would like use one session and try and use that to catapult me to the next one. Every session had a purpose. My managers always taught me that every song had a purpose as well. So even if I wrote a song and it didn't get cut, or nothing happens with it, there was another purpose for that song. A manager would hear that song, or some other artist would hear that I was in a session with this person and be like, oh, what was Kamille saying? So I was always using like connection. And I think that's what I keep promoting whenever I do talks like this, is like, you have to be able to be willing to connect yourself without anyone else helping you. And that's literally what I did for like a good strong 3 to 4 years. I remember when I worked with started working with Little Mix, I was like, oh my God, they're incredible. And I then realized on that label at the time at Psycho, Simon Cowell's label, there were so many acts there I loved and wanted to work with. Like, I started working with James Arthur, I started working with like Flirt East, and we got an amazing record with Sax. And I started working on the X Factor show because I was just so eager to like work. So I think that's kind of how my collaboration path has happened.
Right. So hang on. So as like an outside person, like say if I'm as passionate as you, I'm in these right spaces.
Yeah.
Who I'm thinking, right, I'm eager too. But what the hell did you say to who to like get in a room with these people? Who was the first? Did it open doors to like the next? And just even like you said, like, you got in with kind of Psycho. Like, how did going from just meeting up with and collaborating with one artist, how did that go on to the next? Like, what were you saying to these people?
So I think what happens typically when you like have songs that people want, or because, okay, at the time when that number one happened, right, I had probably written 100, 200 songs. Like, that's how many songs I had like to play to people when they were like, oh, who's Kamille? She's just written this song. What else has she got? Okay. Had
you sent them to loads of people before? Like, had you had knockbacks before then?
No, I hadn't, because I was
you're a hit maker.
I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just like, yeah, here's some songs. And that's what I'm saying. When my manager at the time found out, he was like, what? You've got all this music. So like, I think it was more that, like, sidebar, one of my other managers actually created and found Take That, right? And when he first heard Gary Barlow's music, Gary Barlow had about 5 to 10 records that now, like Want You Back for Good, Pray, all these songs he just written on the piano. He had them all done. And that story always stuck with me, because I thought, oh my God, this is before he was even found. He just written this stuff. And I wanted to be like that so bad. So I remember like, I was just writing so much stuff. And I think that was essentially, the key to helping me get through the door when I then was in a position to like have certain meetings, because it does take time. Anyone starting from new right now, you might not be able to get through the doors right now, but I promise you there will come a moment, if you keep going, where people will start to be really interested in what you're doing. And you need to be able to back that up with like, I've got demos, I've got beats, I've got this, I can sing. I've been performing here, I've been performing there, I've been doing this all on my own. I think that's what people want to see. And that really helped. So when I then was ready to do it, I was like, demos. I had demos, and those were the ones that started getting cut really quickly. So to everyone else, it probably seemed like I had a really fast ascent, but these were all songs I've
been grafting.
I literally had, and I still do that now.
Was there nothing in it that you were like, actually, I just want to release these songs?
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I wanted to be an artist from day one. Like from day one, I wanted to be an artist. But at that time, Black girls were not popping. Like you could not be signed for shit if you were a Black girl. And
so you gave these songs to these other people?
I did because I thought I want to be in the industry on some level, and if it's not going to be me as a singer right now, people aren't seeing me as an artist, because that was a massive rejection I had. People didn't really see me like an artist back then, and so I thought, okay, I'll give these songs to other people and just get my way in. And that's my thing, like you have to find a way in. It might not be the way you want, but you'll get to where you want to get to in the end if you just persevere. And I'm here now doing my own music, so yeah, that's what I did.
These are the things that people don't see. Like, yeah, you've got these accolades, but you had to give them to someone else. And obviously now, like, your solo stuff is popping and you've got all these amazing contacts. But people might look at you and be like, Kamille, like, how has she come like flying out the gates with all these like best mates who all have number ones? But it's because you sacrifice something to still just get in and just get in there.
Yeah, it's been so hard. Like, I hate always kind of bringing a negative vibe about what the industry is like, but I just want to be real, because I hate people like kind of not being real about it. Like, it was really hard, and all of you here know how hard it is to want to be in this industry, and I sacrificed so much time. Like, you won't even be able to, have you noticed, most of you, how like you don't get to see your family as much as you'd want, or your friends as much, because you're probably like making a beat or making music. Like, music is like, it's all encompassing, and you don't have a lot of free time. You sacrifice so much. Yeah, that's what I did. And it does pay off, but it takes a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. I did notice that. So the Jessie Ware question, we talked about your collabs, and they have asked, Anonymous asked, how did that connection first come about? So I feel like we need to address that.
Because I'm obsessed with Jessie Ware. I'm obsessed with Jessie Ware. I think I started stalking her, which I do with everyone I love and want to work with. I stalked them. I think I DM'd her a couple times. She probably didn't even see it. And then I would beg my managers, like, oh my God, can I please try and write for Jessie Ware? And they were like, I remember one year they were like, give it a year, babe, give it a year. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. Then the next year I was like, can I please write for Jessie Ware? And by that time I had done more and more. So that when my management then reached out to her management, they were like, Kamille, okay. And I think they got in touch with her, and she was kind of interested, but not so much. What I then did was I wrote some songs which I felt would fit for her, and I sent them to her management and to her label. And she was like, okay, this is really cool. So do you see what I mean? It took steps even to just get that one connection.
Yeah, I think also there's also like something in this as well where you have literally said, this is a goal of mine and I'm real about it. I'm vocalizing it. I'm asking my management. I'm asking for help. I'm reaching out the best way I can. And imagine if they'd have said yes straight away and you met up with Jessie Ware and you didn't have anything to show for it. You were just like, I love your music.
100%.
The fact that they kind of managed your expectations, your passion is still there, but they managed you. And then they thought, right, okay, now's the time. But because of that initial, not rejection, but that not yet, you went away and wrote some songs perfect for her. You did a year's essentially worth of kind of this could happen vibe. Yeah. And then when the time came, you were prepared.
Definitely, 100%. That was like a dream for me to work with her. And then we became like really good friends. And then she asked me to support her on her tour, which was incredible. So like that just came from like me hustling and working and really respecting her time, because artists don't have a lot of time typically. So it's always good to be prepared and have like ideas ready. And yeah, that was a very, very, very special moment for me because I love Jessie so much.
Diana has said, in terms of showing songs to people, do you think they should all be mixed and mastered first?
No. Please do not go away mixing and mastering your songs to play to people. You can get a good level of like a mix if you want it to sound cool. I use Lander. I don't know if anyone knows about Lander, Landr. You can go on there and you can just pay a membership. I think it's like the same amount as like paying for like Spotify or something, and you can upload your songs and it will just give you a good mix on your songs for people to listen to. That's what I use.
Such good advice.
Lander, right? And that'll make your song sound really sick. But like, please don't go around mastering your songs. Oh my gosh, people actually want to hear things in an unfinished state, because most artists don't want stuff sounding completely finished. They want to feel like they can have some input. The A&R person at the label want to feel like they can have input, and no one wants to hear something finished. People are actually more excited by stuff that sounds rough. It's really funny, but if I hear a rough demo, I get more excited because I'm like, oh, and I want to add this and I want to do this, and I don't want to hear something finished, so I feel like I can't do anything with it.
Yeah, I agree. Also, someone who listens to music, so through introducing, the idea is that it is a first step. People could be making music in their bedroom, and more often than not, we're sent a lot of demos. So Arlo Parks is a good example. She sent her very rough and ready like demos to us, and I just fell in love with it because I heard her exactly as she was. And now we've seen her growth through working with producers who heard that and go, I know what I can do with that. If they hear a polished record, it's a bit like, well, they've already kind of got it. That's what they're doing.
It can put people off, can't it? It's weird.
Sometimes I like the demos a bit more.
Me too. I always have that though. My managers, if I send them a demo of a song I've written or whatever, they'll always fall in love with the demo, and then when the song's finished, they always don't like it as much. I'm like, I'm crying out loud.
It's because you've just heard it in its like most vulnerable and raw form. I feel like that's the most pure you're going to get an artist.
My God, literally.
All right, so we have Anonymous who says, do you ever get writer's block? If so, how do you get over it?
I get writer's block every day. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst. I'm the absolute worst. Like, I get writer's block with the breeze. I just cannot sometimes write a song. Sometimes I'll get in the studio. I'm in my studio now. I'll just sit here like, and nothing will come. And then I'll order delivery, and then I'll go watch Netflix. And I'm learning it's okay. Like, you're not a machine. You can't write songs every bloody day. Like, what the fuck? But what is important is the times when you are in a good mood to write, that you really enjoy it, right? That's all it's about. So I've learned now, if I have writer's block, when I'm on my own, I'll just stop and I'll go and do something else. If I have writer's block and I'm in a session, that's a different story. Like yesterday, I'm in a session with Steve Mack and Anne Marie, right? And we've written one song. It sounds sick. We now need to write another song. We all can't get it. We're all just kind of sitting there like, doing stuff, and nothing's really hitting. And that's fine. We just said, look, we'll come back another day and finish it. It's just not a big deal. So just don't put pressure on yourself. Writer's block is normal, and it's actually healthy, because it's kind of your brain going, nah, we're not on it today. That's fine. Sorry, if anyone's wondering what I'm doing.
That's right, it's making me hungry. Oh yeah, speaking of which, so out of all the people that you've worked with, who brings the best studio snacks, and what do you have?
Definitely Anne-Marie. I'm not even gonna so Anne-Marie and Trey Jean-Marie. Trey Jean-Marie is an incredible producer. He's produced like so many hits, and if you know him, he's like my really close friend. And Anne-Marie is like the vegan queen, and she will bring you like every single thing. Like, she'll bring like wings that are like made of straw or some shit. Like, she's so inventive with her vegan snacks. So I always know I'm going to get fed when I'm in a session with her.
Oh my God, amazing. Right, so we've got someone asked about Lander. Is it Lander or is it A?
Oh, it's Landr, like Lander.
Oh, Landr.
Lander.
We might have to find a link. I don't know if we can do that. What would you say was your biggest, Leisha says this, your biggest secret to success as you navigated through the industry?
Oh, I think my biggest secret actually was knowing that I am the shit. I'm sorry to swear. But you have to have confidence in yourself. Otherwise, you won't last 2 seconds. I was being thrown into sessions in LA with like the biggest producers, like Louis and Billy Walsh, who like produce all the Post Malone stuff. Like, I'm talking like hit producers, and thrown into a session with Rihanna. Rihanna's right there in front of me. So I've got to know I'm like decent, and I've just got to have confidence in myself. And I think that has been the key for me, because when you know you love music and you know you're talented, yeah, and I know you're all talented in this chat, there's something within you that knows you can create something sick. It doesn't matter what anyone else tells you, you feel it. It's like a feeling that you have as a musician, right? You guys know what I mean. And that feeling cannot be bought, it cannot be explained, but you know it. And that's what I feed off. Like when I'm singing, I know now if I go on this, someone sends me a beat, if I'm playing something, I'm going to sing something sick. I am, because I'm gifted and God's blessed me. And I think that's what you have to have, that confidence to know I can do this. Doesn't matter what anyone says. And yeah, I think it's that, actually, especially as a Black woman. There's not many Black women in this industry doing what I do. And I've had to kind of just do it with this confidence from nowhere sometimes. I remember when I was in the room with Heady One, AJ Tracy, Fred again, and me.
Oh, Fred, he's so lovely.
Oh, Fred's my boy. And literally, I had to come up with a hook in like 10 seconds. I had about 10 seconds to do it. And I remembered there was this like song that I loved, this bashment song that my mum did. And I was like, my mum loved and used to bring me up on, like, by Lady Saw. And I was like, oh my God, what if I remix this? You have to have ideas, just be confident in your ideas. And I went on the mic and I started singing, baby, are you up for this? I just started singing that. And I was like, I am feeling hot tonight. And everyone was like, oh my God, that's it, that's it. And it turned into Ain't It Different? And that was it. Like, and I was just like, okay, my idea paid off, and just being brave and being confident in myself. So yeah, sorry to waffle on. You just got to be confident. You have to be confident in yourself. You have to.
This is the thing as well. Like someone once told me, like I had like a role. It was like one of my first hosting gigs, and I was really nervous. And they were just like, no one knows how nervous you are. And if you think about it from the viewer's perspective, like they're there and they're like there to back you up. They don't want to see you fail. And in that room, you're with a room of creatives. You could have like hummed something and someone might go, that's amazing, or like, not really sure. Like, and you just move on to the next thing. But it is having the confidence to just like go with what you know, because you are there for a reason. So I think that works with like sort of imposter syndrome as well. I always find if you are feeling that a little bit, just be a sponge and be like, I actually have the most to gain here out of everyone.
Definitely. That is such a good point, because my imposter syndrome is so bad. I have it every day. As I said to you when Jess read out that intro, I was like, that's not me. I don't know who you're talking about. Like, you just got to be so confident in the fact that you are here for a reason, right? And also, you made such a good point about if something you're doing isn't good, because sometimes I do things and it's really, really like trash. People be like, okay, I'm not really feeling that. I'll be like, okay.
Just forget about it.
Keep it moving. Exactly.
Having said that, if you have belief in it being good, but the people around you don't see that, keep it for someone else. Don't waste it on them, because those are sometimes the gems.
That's such a good point. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Someone's actually asked, what if you don't like posting on social media? That is a big one these days, isn't it?
Baby. This is a problem, baby. Baby, this is a problem. If you don't like posting on social media, child, I'm just being real with you. You need to find a way, because it's going to leave you behind. I'm just being real. We're in a social media world. Like, we're in the music industry. So you have to be able to be okay with being on social media to some level. You're not like bloody Adele, who can just jump on and jump off. And she came from a different era, right? Every label, I've had meetings with every single head of every single record label in the last month, probably, right? From Columbia to Polydor to Atlantic. I've had meetings with them all. And do you know what they will tell me? What's blowing on TikTok right now? What's going on TikTok right now? And that's just, it's no shade on them. It's because that's actually what is happening in music right now. Like, TikTok is leading music and music discovery. I love TikTok for that, because I actually love the fact that I'm finding music that I probably wouldn't have normally found from listening to the radio, or you know, being told what to listen to by a record label. I'm finding it myself. So I think you have to be able to post on socials. How much you post is a different question. How much you consume social media, different question. You can make that comfortable for you, but child, you got to get on socials. I'm so sorry about it. You can literally blow yourself if you just learn how to conduct yourself in the way you're happy with on social media.
I do think it is finding like a sort of formula that works for yourself. Like, just finding what you find easiest and most comfortable with. You just have to be consistent, don't you?
Definitely. And when you're in a good mood, because what I do, because I think 6 out of 7 days I probably don't want to be on socials at all. There'll be one day of the week I'm like, gas, I feel like I look good, I want to do some posts. batch all your content. So batch all your Instagram content, batch all your TikTok content for that day, change your clothes. If you're in the mood to do it, I'm saying. And then that means at least you've got content for a while and you haven't got to go back on it.
I also think as a musician, like you can create content because at the moment the focus is on creating content that stays on. And I think that's what a lot of people struggled with, the change in the algorithm. I found that when I point to things that I've done, so whether it be a radio show or an event that's off, like, you know, in real life, it doesn't tend to like that so much. If you're a musician, you're making music, you can even put up like a clip of your demo, 15 seconds. People love that. You can do a little cover. You can just do like a little video of you talking and it be about something relevant to your page, and people like it if you just want to build.
Oh my gosh, they do. And just fall in love with TikTok, please, 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 because I know people get annoyed with it and it's a love-hate thing, but it really is going to be the change for music. And TikTok even creating their own record label, for crying out loud. Like it's just going to take over everything. Just find a love for TikTok. Find what you love about it. I love being a songwriter on TikTok. There's so many songwriters and producers on TikTok, right? And they all go on there and put clips of their music, and their beats just blow up, and everyone's recording their own versions to it. Like, it's the best place for music creatives to be found. I'm telling you, I've found so many people on there.
They have stages everywhere. Like at the Great Escape Festival, they had their own stage.
It's incredible. Like, it's not a bad thing. Trust me. If anyone is scared of TikTok, I used to be like that, and now I'm obsessed with it. Like, even promoting my music on there has been so much more fun, because every time I promote a video, I'm not promoting it to the same group of people. It's not like Instagram, where I find people tend to get quite bored quite quickly. Yeah. With TikTok, it's a new group of people each time. You can put your song up there a million times and no one's going to get bored or go, why is she still putting up her song? Like, it's more fun. I find it more fun. Anyway.
I think that's the difference. I personally haven't cracked TikTok just yet, but I think that's the difference with it. I think with things like Instagram, you can get overwhelmed of like, oh, I don't have that many followers, I'm not building, I'm not growing. Whereas TikTok, there is space for everyone. That's what they've kind of done. There is space for pretty much everyone to be viral. So you just have to keep going, keep doing it. I'm aware we have 13 minutes left. I have so many questions which I didn't get to.
That sounds so fast. Oh my God.
I know. I do want to ask, because I don't know if everyone knows this, but you are the first artist to ever be offered their own studio within London's iconic Metropolis studios. And when I say iconic, I mean, it really is. Like, when you walk in, it has this like amazing, like grandiose feel. It just feels special, and not in like an old, like throwback way, in like a, no, this is where stuff like the future is being made as well. How did that come about, and how does it feel?
Well, I fell in love with Metropolis because I was invited a lot there to write with people. So I wrote most of my Little Mix stuff there and loads of other stuff. And I remember working with WizKid there. It was incredible. And I just fell in love with it. And then Adele would always be there. Drake would just be walking around, and like Future was there the other day. And I was like, oh my God, this is where I need to be. And my management connected with the owners and just kind of got talking about it. But it's been the most incredible thing for me to have my own studio there. Like, I'm right next door to where Adele wrote Hello. So I was literally playing on the piano that she wrote Hello on the other day, and I wanted to cry.
Oh my God.
Oh, I love it in there. But yeah, it's the best. I'm so honoured. It's the absolute best. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So how did you just ask? Like, what was the situation?
Well, I will say this has come at the latter stage of my career now, where I've like had some success. So I'm not just, a person off the street going to the studio in here. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have had a very long time. But I mean, I knew the owners, as I said, through my management, and we just got talking about it. And I said, I would love a space in here. I work a lot in here anyway, so it makes sense me being in here. And they kind of were up for it. They had an old room where they had like loads of just vinyl CDs hanging around. And they were like, do you want this room? And I was like, yeah.
Yes.
I changed it into my studio. So that's literally what happened. I was really lucky.
Oh my God, amazing. And also the label, the studio you have, and you're a publisher owner. I'm going to be real, publishing still like mind boggles me a little bit. Yeah. I know it's to do with the writing credits, and obviously that's where you started. So you have your own label and publishing
company. Yes, I do.
Yes.
So, if anyone doesn't know, publishing, it's the means of looking after your copyright. So as a songwriter or a producer, you write songs or you make music, and once they're cut and released into the world, they're going to earn you royalties and stuff. And I think a publisher's job really is to make sure that all your royalties are being collected, that they're looking after your music for you, that they're registering your music in the right way, and that they're helping set up sessions for you. I hope I've explained everything. They also give you an advance. So when you're signed to a publisher, like for example, BMG or Warner Chappell or Spirit Be Unique, there's lots of them in the UK. You can go and research that. They'll offer you an advance, which is meant to essentially provide you the way to do this as a job. So to pay for your living expenses and to just make sure you're okay. Depending on what stage you're at in your writing or production career will depend on what kind of advance you get. Obviously, there's people who get millions and millions. There's people who get maybe like a few grand. So it just depends where you are. But it's meant to help you along the way with your career. I forgot what your question was. I'm so sorry.
Obviously you're telling us this is great background. But you've started your own publishing and label. Talk to me about why and tell us about it.
Well, I just see it as part of my future. Like, I want to be able to find talent just like someone found me, and I want to be able to help other people like I was helped. So I started my own publishing company to find amazing writers and producers. If any of you are here in the room, I'm always looking out for amazing people to sign and look after and help write with. And I wanted to start my own record label to also help new artists. So I've done this as a means basically for me to be able to create my own avenue and just help people that don't usually or wouldn't typically get a lot of help. So yeah, that's why I'm here. It's called Pure Cut, and I kind of released my own music through that as well. I'm joined with BMG, so it's just nice to be independent and do my own thing.
How does it work being joint with BMG? Whilst also being an independent?
It's amazing actually, because I'm getting a lot of like their expertise and I love them. I'm signed to them from my own publishing, so they're like a family to me anyway, and it was just like a natural progression to start my own stuff with their help. They've been so helpful and so incredible, and it's been a joy because they're like just so chilled out. I don't have any stress, and they just really support me, so it's been amazing.
What was the point, and like what did you do first? So you obviously you started in writing, and then you were making your own music, and then you think, actually I want my own label. Like, what was the first sort of conversation? What did you have to do to put that in place? And how was it?
Spoke to my management about it, and we all had always had this idea in the end that I'd want to have my own stuff going on, because that's the goal at the end of the day. You want to be, I just always see Simon Cowell as like someone you want to look up to, just obviously not spending so much time with him, but he's an icon, and he's, his legacy is crazy, right? And that's what I saw as something I wanted. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm not gonna be able to sing forever, I'm not gonna be able to like be here writing songs forever for Little Mix, am I?
So realistic. I love it.
Yeah, you've got a future. And I think part of my economics background actually helped with that, because I was like, I need to be set up for my future, my pension, all these things I wanted to think about. So I thought I want to do something for the later stages of my career for sure.
That's amazing. All right, we've got 7 minutes left, so we have some questions. Jeff says, how does an aspiring songwriter get past the gatekeepers to get cuts for their songs by singers such as the amazing ones who have recorded your material?
Okay, first of all, I'd say that's a journey. I'm going to talk really quickly because I know we've not got lots of time. It's a journey. You're not going to get cuts by the biggest artists straight away. You have to work your way up from maybe the artists that are a bit smaller, a bit more independent or growing. Second thing I say is the best way of doing that is to reach out to producers on social media. So nowadays, a lot of producers are always looking for new writers. Producers tend to be quite, stuck sometimes with, they need hooks on their songs, or they need lyrics on their songs for them to get them cut as well. So go and look at producers of the songs that you love. Go on Spotify. It was actually, I was one of the people who used to beg Spotify to show the credits on songs. They now show the credits on songs, obviously, so you can go on there and see who has produced this song, who's written this song. If you keep seeing the same name, it's going to be someone that you like. Hit them up on Instagram and be like, look, I love this song. I love what you do. Here's some demos. Keep doing it. If they don't answer, try another one. Someone will connect with you. That's a really good way of getting in the room with people who are writing and producing for the people that you want to get to.
So the next question actually was about how you got into your very first session, and did you have a management team first that helped you get into the sessions? But you met your management at one of the studio sessions, didn't you?
Exactly. I kind of met them when I was writing already. If you don't have management to get you into sessions, again, connect with people and try and write with people who are wanting to write with you. Because I think the best thing about doing this is getting experience and having actual demos in your hand. It's kind of like a currency. So I would say don't worry about it being this person or this person. Just try and get songs that you love in your hands. I think that's the first step for sure.
We've got an anonymous saying, not a question, but worth checking out for the audience. They just say, I love your content on TikTok. Love that.
TikTok, yes. I love it.
And we have Diana asking, what are your best tips for people that have been doing production for a few years? I've been doing it for a while, but I still don't feel confident on it.
Oh, I feel like that sometimes. I don't feel 100% confident also in my production because it's something you keep learning on, right? And I think that's okay. Just keep going and don't give up, because most producers I know that are massive hit makers are always looking at the other producers going, what did he do? Or what did he do? Or what's she done? So keep practicing, go on Splice and look on Splice, for example, at the charts. If anyone doesn't know what Splice is, it's a platform for getting like loads of amazing sounds and plugins, all that kind of stuff. And Splice is an amazing place because you can look and see what's popping on there in terms of production and how things sound and what people want, what people are downloading. Most hit producers I know and work with use Splice to produce. So they're using a lot of the sounds that you hear on Splice for their records, right? So if you go on there and just kind of see what people are into, it will help you even try and figure out what you want to do, how things should sound. Just take it easy on yourself. You don't have to do it tomorrow. Just chill out and practice.
I feel like saying as well, hopefully you don't feel like not confident enough to send it, because your perspective is like your own little world. Whereas if you send it to people who are also starting out, it could be that you grow together.
Send it to me, DM it to me, and I'll listen to it, because I'm always here I love listening to stuff. I'm like, by the way, all you guys, I know I'm probably going to get loads of DMs now, but you guys are so welcome to send me stuff. If you want to send me anything, just DM it to me. I will get back to you, but like, I'll check it out if you want and see if there's anything I like.
We have Lisho says, any tips on best practice to approach a producer, songwriter or artist that you want to work with via DM if you have not gone viral yet, so to speak?
Yeah, I'd say just send them a really nice message. Don't send a long message. A really nice message is being like, hi, I really love what you do. If you have any time at all and you want to listen to this, it might make you happy or you might enjoy this. And just send a link. If they don't get back to you, try it again in a little while, but don't harass people. But just, nicely talk to people on Instagram. And a lot of people, you'll be surprised, will reply.
Thing is as well, sometimes I read stuff and I don't have anything for them at the time, or I'm really busy at the time. But if they check in again, like, I don't know, not like all the time, but if they check in every now and then, I kind of get a feel of who they are and that they're still trying and that they're still doing. And then eventually something will be right, like the stars will align and it will be right.
Now I get left on red. I won't tell you who by, but I message people all the time and get left on a red. That thing has been seen. I can see they've read it, and you just can't get offended by that. Just keep it moving. You've got to have a tough skin. Not everyone's going to try. Not everyone's going to be into what you're doing. That's okay. Someone will be into it. You just got to keep going.
We also have Consuelo's got a few. Hi, Consuelo. I feel like you're really plugged into this. Consuelo. How do you balance presenting a rough demo to a label and finishing a polished song for sync?
Oh, interesting. To be honest with you, it's quite different with sync, because with sync it's very brief orientated. They know what they want. If it's for an advert, if it's for a movie, like I've just done some stuff for a movie and it's very much like, we need this to sound like this. So I don't have to worry too much about how it's going to be sounding, because typically they kind of get involved. But with a rough demo for a label, labels love rough demos, actually. As I said to you before, they really like to feel like they can be involved, and they'll go and send it to whoever they want to finish it. So I don't really usually get too involved with, obviously if I produced it, yes, but even when I produced it, a label might say they want to have additional production on it, or they want it to be mixed by this person, or blah, blah, blah. I think rough demos are the way to go. I really do. I can't stress that enough. Everyone loves a rough demo. Obviously not sounding like really bad.
Too rough, yeah. In your bathroom.
Yeah, but Yeah, but don't worry about it not sounding finished. That's the least of your worries. Just make sure the song is on point.
He's also asked, do you go back and use ideas that were ditched in the creative room?
All the time. I have so many demos, and I literally send to my management again, like, yo, this song is fire. And even my management, I have so many songs I send to them, they forget. So I have to like resend them to them. Like, everyone's human. Not everyone's going to remember everything, and that's okay. And not everyone's going to hear it the first time that what your idea is that you think is genius. So yeah, just keep sending it and relive in the moment.
Okay, we have 20 seconds left. Kamille, thank you so much for joining us. What is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Trust in yourself. You are sick. You are born to do this. If you know that this is why you want to be here, then trust in yourself and keep going and don't give up. Whatever you do, do not give up. It's hard, but keep going. Bye.
Did you see the countdown then? I was like, yes. Thank you, guys.
I was like, that was so abrupt, but great. Thank you so much.